Hey, welcome to Saturday morning. I'm going to be finishing off the Amazon Warrior quilt that I started yesterday, so I've got her up there. I don't think I'm going to finish her within the stream because I did not get very far. Yesterday I finished off with almost cutting out all the pieces, so I did go ahead and finish cutting those pieces, but then I didn't get much farther than that. I've laid out the first 3 rows and I've started pinning and sewing them, and that's it. So I'm just going to get right into it and keep working on her. I am making 2 quilts at a time. So I am laying things out for 2 quilts. I have found whenever I make multiple quilts, it's a lot faster to do them at the same exact time. So cutting at the same time, laying out at the same time, doing all that at the same time actually saves time. So it's a lot better. Alright, now, the only thing I want to point out is this one's a little bit different than the Japanese wood spirit that I did for the past couple of days because she has a couple of vertical pieces. I did get one in the 3rd row, so when I get to the next one I'll show you how you do those before everything else. Oh, I did look into being an affiliate versus being a partner with the changes with the subscriptions. So, basically, the subscriptions are still the same levels as if I was as a partner for being an affiliate. You can still subscribe using your Prime. You can subscribe at the $5 level, at the $10 level, or the $25 level. And what that does is it gets you access to special emotes in the chat. I've tried figuring out a way to access whenever someone signs up for a subscription to see if I can get any info from them. So for example, if someone signs up for the $10 subscription, will I actually be able to get their information? And I have not figured that out yet. What it looks like no. But I still have to do a couple of tests to see. So as of right now, you'll just be able to get access to emotes. And I am working on those. It looks like I can only do 3 custom emotes for the subscription levels. So you have 1 emote at the $5 level or the Twitch Prime level, 1 at the $10, and then 1 at the $25. And let's say if you subscribe at the 10, then you get both the $5 and the $10 emote. So I've just got to decide what I want and how I want to do them. Okay. Oh, let me free that last one. Forgetting, and I didn't use it for the wood spirit quilt. I have my handy dandy Cutting Gizmo. Couldn't think of what the name of him was. It's definitely faster to use the Cutting Gizmo, so I should be doing that. There we go. Okay, so I counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that makes 6. So that's to the left. To the left. 4, 5, 6. Great. I was worried. I couldn't remember if this one had 7 or 8 pieces in it. It's been a few months since I've made her. This is to the right. And when I say, and I'm talking to myself for the left and to the right, what I'm doing is I'm checking which way the seams point. So in the case of the third row, seams point to the right. Something else that I realized I do yesterday that I don't think I've mentioned it before, it's actually a little different than the way that I write the patterns, is the patterns, I actually write the rows going from the top to the bottom, where the first one is row 1. I actually do them in the opposite way. I do them on the bottom to the top, and I start with row 15. So when I call rows 1, 2, and 3, it's actually rows 15, 14, 13. I also did set my schedule for the next couple of days. I'm going to be trying to stream as much as I can. Someday, tomorrow, if I need to finish this up, I'll be finishing up the Amazon Warrior. And then, if I have time, I will get started on the Pokemon applique quilt. I'll probably make 2 of those. I just need to decide what fabric I want for the borders. You know what? Maybe those Pokeballs. I don't have a lot of blue characters left. Do I have any other ones? I think I just found something that I thought I was out of. Ha 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 ha! I thought I was completely out of Pokemon fabric. Apparently I've got a couple panels left. Awesome. Okay, let me set that aside, because I was searching for it and I couldn't find it. Okay. Oh, I've got the white. You know what? Maybe I'll go with the characters around the white. See, this is what I do whenever I'm formulating. It's because the Pokemon quilt that I'm going to be making tomorrow, is actually a little different than other quilts because I change it every single time. So it really is different and unique. So I just need to decide what I want to do for this time. And then after I finish the Pokemon applique quilt, I'll be working on quilt kits and dice bags. And then Wednesday, I think I scheduled myself 5 to 8. But I may stream longer. I may be 6 to 9. I don't know. I may change all the times on Wednesday because I'm probably going to do an extra long stream because it's going to be quilting day. So I want to try to get through as many quilts as I can. I have all of those t-shirt quilts for commission. I've got, of course, all of these quilts that I'm making now. I will have a lot of quilts. Go. And then after I quilt and bind everything, I'm going to be working on commissions. So the first commission up is the, well, of course after the t-shirt quilts, is the Kylo Ren weighted blanket. I'm still formulating my plan. I've got all of the materials that I need for that. I just need to decide how I'm going to execute it. So if you haven't seen weighted blankets yet, what they are basically is quilts, and in one of the layers of the quilt there is poly beads. And the poly beads actually give it weight and texture. And they found that people with autism sometimes have trouble falling asleep. And if you put a weighted blanket on yourself with these beads in there, not only does it add extra weight and give you comfort, but you can sit and play with the beads. And the motion will actually calm you and help you fall asleep. So I'm not sure when I'm making that one. It's going to be sometime after next Wednesday, before Con Bravo, because I definitely want to get that one finished before Con Bravo. And then I have a twin size Ghostbusters quilt on my commission list. think I mentioned on my stream Wednesday that I am closing commissions soon for guaranteed Christmas delivery. So if that's something that you've been thinking of, if you want to commission me, you've got to contact me soon. Oh, that's another thing I forgot to put on the list, is the charity quilt. So every year I do a charity quilt. So for Child's Play. And I want to make sure I put that on my list because I don't want to forget about it. People have been sending me cross-stitched squares of their favorite video game scenes for the past 2 years. And, oops, I don't want to do that. These are 2 separate ones. There we go. And I actually take those scenes and I turn them into a charity quilt. And we send that quilt to the Penny Arcade dinner auction that benefits Child's Play. I was thinking about that yesterday. I was like, oh, wait, I haven't popped into Sprite Stitch lately. That's the community of the video game cross-stitchers that are making the scenes. So I had to pop in there this morning and apologize and remind everyone that, hey, get me the squares. To the right. These 2. out at this one. There we go. Alright, so this first row, seams go to the right. The next one, seams go to the left. And what I'm doing with my fingers is I'm just making sure I'm finding where the seams line up, because the seams are pointing in different directions. So they're going to nest in there quite nicely. And then once I find it, I put a pin in there. And then I find all the other seams and put pins in there as well, because I do not want the seams to fold up as I sew them. So first, find the seams that line up, move the fabric around so it does, and then put a pin in it. Now I'm going to put these rows in two separate places, because these two are actually two different quilts. So the first one I put right here, the second one I'm going to put behind it into a separate rack. Alright, same thing. Seams go to the right. Seams go to the left. And flip it over. And pin. Now, if you have extra fabric on the top or the bottom of your row, that means that you haven't sewn the seams exactly the same through everything. Or maybe you made a small mistake in cutting. It's not a big deal. You just stretch the fabric, hold it, and then put the pins in while the fabric is stretched. And what that does is it lines it all up. And whenever you actually put it into the machine to sew the row, it'll even it all out. So it should do it without any puckering. There we go. Okay, so first 3 rows are done. So let me hide the first 3 rows. And let's do the next one. Okay, towards the black. I need to go towards the black with the skin tone. seam doesn't make a difference and I have an odd number of these, so I'm just going to take one of each. There we go. And then solid red. Okay, and then I need to go towards the red on the bottom. So here's a vertical piece that I was talking about. And then gold on the top. So the vertical pieces, I normally set out just like that. And then I like to have the vertical pieces go towards the gold because it's just easier. So in this case, it's going to go towards the top. So the next one I need to go towards the background. Okay, and then let me go ahead and pin that. Now, the reason why I'm pinning this is because there is a seam in the center of it, so I want to make sure that this lays nice and flat. This isn't something that I could just pop into the machine and sew without pins. There we go. I'm just going to lay those right there to remind myself. Alright, are there any more vertical seams in the next two rows? Yes. Okay, so let me start laying out the next one. Okay, so it's going to go towards the blue, so we need to go towards the background again. Okay, and then blue. Here's the vertical piece, and then the bottom needs to go, the arrow's to the right, so it needs to go towards the skin. Here we go. And now if you're more comfortable doing all of these first in the pattern, I did break them out separately. Right after I say lay all the pieces out, I circle any vertical rows. So some people decide to do all the vertical rows first so that you have those pieces already combined and made, ready to go. Alright, so I need to sew these before I go any farther. Now, in the third row, there are no vertical pieces, so these are the only ones that I have. Instead of using my scrap fabric right here, I'm just going to go ahead and start sewing one of these rows. It allows you to be efficient in your sewing and your chaining. And I'm at a bobbin thread. There it goes. I had some unravel, so I had to keep pulling until I reached that part of it. Here we go. I am going to go ahead and iron row 3 and set it aside because I don't have row 4 finished, so I can't take this and pin it to anything yet. Okay, so I'm just going to take these, set them aside over there. Oh, and then whenever I have a solid and a piece that's already sewn together, I like to iron towards the solid because I find that it actually stretches the fabric out less and it warps the piece less. So that's just something that I've done over time. Alright, so now let's lay these out. And then I can pin this first row now. Okay, now this first row, row 4, seams go to the left. So I'm going to pick up that left piece, flip it over onto the right, and pin it. So I'm taking this left piece, flipping it up over the right piece, and right here is where I pin it. Left piece, pick it up over the right, and pin it on the left. And this is whenever the arrow points to the left. And I'm going to do that for the entire row. And remember, I'm making 2 quilts at the same time. So these 2 rows are exactly the same for the 2 different quilts. So the second row will also have the seams pointing to the left. Now, whenever I have 2 pieces that both have a seam, so for example, this right here, I have 2 pieces of the seam. When I pick it up and lift it over, I want to nest those seams, just like I did when I cut them. So I want those seams to line up right in there and then put the pin in. So in this case, I have 2 seams. This one, the bottom is pointing to my right, the top is pointing to my left. I'm just going to fit that right in there, make sure there's a nice smooth line here. Make sure those seams are butted right up against each other, and then put pins in. Okay. For some reason I forgot that the seams are pointing to the left for these rows, so I had to relook at it. Alright. Let me finish laying out the next row. Need 1 there. Let me put that back. And I'm using my only one of this. Okay, I need a blue-yellow piece. Doesn't make a difference which way it points, so I have an odd number, so I'm actually going to take 2. I'm going to take 1 in each, just to use those up. Skin. And okay, in this case I chose the one where the seam's pointing towards the skin, so I need to go down towards the background. Okay, now in this next row, everything's pointing to the right. So let's go ahead and pin those seams to the right. So when I finish the Amazon Warrior quilts, the next one up that I've got scheduled for tomorrow's stream, the Pokemon quilt, I mentioned earlier it's an applique quilt. I am going to be using my brother's Scan and Cut to cut all the pieces. So you can actually see how the Brother Scan and Cut works. I'm going to try to play around with it and see if I can do the screen capture for it. So you can see how I actually do the program. And then let's lay out the last row that I'm going to do for this set. I'm going to move that down there. Okay, and then I'm laying out the one that is towards the black. So we need to go towards the black with the blue. And then I'm using this last piece here. So I'm going to move these over just so they're out of my way. And then I need one of these. Oh, it looks like I'll need one of each. So I'm going to take one of each now. I was looking ahead to the to future pieces down the aisle or down the row, and you'll see what I was mumbling about in a moment. Okay, yellow. Okay, now in this case, the next piece is this. Now I only have 2 of these. So each one, the seam is going in a different direction, and I didn't want to re-iron it. So, because the next piece is then these, the opposite way with the yellow going up. So in that, the blue is on top, and this one, the yellow is on top. So I'm going to place them down exactly opposite. So this one, the seam's pointing towards the blue. So this one seems pointing towards the blue. This one's pointing towards the yellow. So that's going to point towards the yellow. Alright, and now I need the blue and tan. So we split those out and take one of each. So it's going to be blue on top. So it's this one and then that one. Okay, and then towards the skin with black, and then background, and then a large background. Alright, let's pin these. and I know you probably saw me doing it, but I didn't mention, for these rows, seams are pointing to the left. So I'm taking the left piece, flipping it up over the right piece, and pinning it in place. Now everything that I sew is sewn with a 1/4 inch seam. And I use a 1/4 inch guide foot. So I actually have a piece of metal here that if the fabric is touching that metal, I know it's a 1/4 inch. I'm working on getting a 3rd camera. When I get that 3rd camera, I'm probably going to have it attached to my machine and down. I mean, not attached to the machine because the machine would shake it, so it would be a shaky camera. We don't want that. But I will attach it near the machine in a way that won't hinder my sewing, so you can see exactly when the fabric goes into the machine, how it's done. Back. Alright, my thread, what happened just there is my thread skipped, which happens sometimes. And what that means is as it was sewing, the thread jumped up. Okay, so the bobbin thread is still good. And it actually wrapped itself around the needle. Okay, and great, I don't have to redo the needle. In that case, you just stop what you're doing, cut the thread, and redo everything. Sometimes you'll have to rethread it, sometimes you don't. So in this case, I didn't have to rethread it. And like always, I find it more efficient to just do all the sewing at once, all the ironing at once, all the pinning at once. I just realized I used my scissors to separate all those. I've got to get in the habit of using my cutting gizmo. See how much faster that is than me cutting them apart with scissors? It's just something that I've just recently, in the past few months, started using, so I've got to get myself in the habit of actually using it. Excuse me. It is season for allergies for me. I took my pill this morning, but probably need to take another one. Whew, man. There we go. I was looking on there, I'm like, one of the lights is casting a shadow, and it looks weird. Oops. Oh, I totally just kept sewing, didn't I? Is it the same one at least? No, it's two different ones. Okay. Alright, the first piece is, okay, is that one. So it is this one here. Okay, yep, making sure I was cutting it the right part. That's one of the only, well, not only, but that's one of the nice things about doing two quilts at the same time, is that whenever I just keep sewing and make simple little mistakes like that, yeah, I can just look at the other one and see where I'm supposed to cut it and separate it. I've done that a couple of times before. One time I picked the wrong spot, and so I've sewed the wrong row to the wrong row. And of course, eventually I caught it. Had to seam rip everything and redo it. Man, my thread is just not liking me today. In this case, it did completely, it jumped and then broke. So, oops, help if the needle was up so I could rethread it. There we go. problems catching for some reason. There we go. Now it's better. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So this one's gonna need 3 more passes. Now normally when I have an odd number like this, I will take the first piece and set it aside and then combine the rest. But in this case, I have a super long back piece. So I'm actually going to leave that one out. So I'm going to flip and sew the others. And this one is the exact same thing, so I will do the same thing. Okay, let's to the left. Just making sure I did the first one to the left as well. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this one's just going to need 3 passes. Okay, and this goes to the right, and it's an even number, so I don't have to worry about leaving any pieces out. right, to the right. Okay, and this is to the left. Oh, I forgot to count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, and you know what? I'm gonna leave that piece as well because that piece is bigger than this piece, so I'm not worried about including it. There you go. Iron this out. That way I can have that pass completely done. I'm getting tired. I didn't sleep very well last night for some reason. So I'm thinking when I get through the next 3 rows, I'm going to reward myself by getting a cup of coffee. I did it again. Well, at least I know that there are 3 pieces in the previous one. So, 1, 2, 3. I don't know why I keep doing that. See, I'm tired. I have iced tea in here. I don't think there's enough caffeine. This goes to the left, and now I can include that last piece. Free this one so I can finish that pass. I don't know why I just did that. But that's okay. Sometimes you go into autopilot and you're not thinking about what you're doing. And that is when I tend to make mistakes. I actually find that since I've started Twitch streaming and then uploading the videos to YouTube, I talk out my process a little more, and because I'm talking out my process, I'm making less mistakes. Now, I still make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. But I'm making less of them because I'm paying more attention to what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. Okay, this is to the right. Now this one has 3 pieces. You saw me doing it in the previous rows. What I do when it has 3 pieces is I just sew it both to the left and to the right. Okay, and this is the top one, so this is going to the left, and I'm going to include that last piece. Yeah, I lost track for a moment. And I've already ironed this one. I am, because it is just a few pieces. I'm going to sew, iron, and pin each one. Alright, so here is row 4 and row 5. So that's for one quilt. Nope. 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 What are you doing, Tony? That's not true. This and that. So row 3 and 4 are for one quilt. I almost forgot row 3. So in that case, because I've already sewn together and ironed row 3, I will sew both the row 4s at the same time, and then alternately take row 3 to use with them. Alright, so this is to the left. And it's funny, whenever I was in Nashville with Laura, one of the nights I was just sitting there trying to sew as many dice bags as I could. I was trying to finish them up. And we were watching TV, and Karate Kid came on. So we watched Karate Kid from start to finish. And then Karate Kid 2 was on. I'm like, man, I can't remember the last time I saw these movies. It was fun. So now, I've got all the songs from Karate Kid stuck in my head. The one that's got the "You're the best around, nobody's ever gonna let you down" or "Get You Down." Yeah, I've got that running through my head now. Like, I seriously, all morning long, that's all is going through my head, and it's really driving me crazy. Stupid Karate Kid. Yeah, and I know I date myself whenever I talk about movies like that. Okay, these are to the left. Alright, I am almost done with rows 4, 5, and 6. Woohoo! And then I can start combining those together. So this is row 5 and 6 for the first quilt. There's 5 and 6 for the second quilt. Here's row 4 for both quilts. Go ahead and finish sewing these. Alright, so let's iron these open. And then I need a row 3. Okay, so I'm going to take my pattern, I'm going to step it back one so I can see which way row 3 is going. So row 3 is going to the right. Row 4 is going to the left. And technically this is row 13 and 12. Okay. Just double checking, making sure I did not flip any pieces. Sometimes I flip these, the vertical one. Sometimes I flip that. Nope, this one looks good. Okay, let's pin this together. So you take the bottom row, flip it up over top of the top row. And remember, when we're pinning rows together, find the first nesting of the seams where the seams meet each other in the opposite ways. Put a pin in there and then go back and put pins in everything else. So with my fingers, I'm just going to guide along. Move it around until it nests perfectly. Nope, that's not one. Here is one. So let me go back and now pin this. There's one here. And then I use my nails to move the fabric around so it's in the perfect position that I want it before I put the pin in. Go. And I'll set this for the first quilt. I've already got this one sewed. Okay, and then this one again is to the left, and this one is to the right. There we go. And double check this one just because the other one was right. If I'm making two quilts, sometimes one of them will be right and one of them will be wrong. That's good. And I'm doing the same thing. Now sometimes, whenever you see me pull this to the right, what happens is this seam underneath is actually pointing to the right because it's not sitting there nicely. So these seams are supposed to all go to the left on the bottom. I actually do the rows that way on purpose, so you can actually pull it to the right and the seam lays down nicely. Because when I pull it to the left, to give myself more space and more room to do it, it'll pop those seams up sometimes. There you go. Okay, so this is rows 3 and 4 for the second quilt. So I want to put it back, behind, and I'll move this over so you can see it again. So I have a set here and a set here. So I have two different sets for two different quilts. And then whenever I sew rows together, at that point, I will switch it and work on one quilt at a time. Now, same thing. I want to free this, but I don't want to use my scrap fabric unless I need to because I want to be efficient. So to free it, I'm going to take that row that I just pinned and sew it. Take all my pins out. Okay. Alright, and I'm going to move this up so I can only see the two rows that I'm working on and combining together. Because I don't want to confuse myself, which is quite easy to do. My water's getting low for my steam, so let me fill it up. Okay, now which one is which? This one looks like row 10, so seams need to go to the left. Yep, that's right. So that means this one has seams to the right. Okay, let's double check it. Good. Okay, good. All right, we're going to flip it and pin it. Here we are, and I'm going to pull it all the way out there, completely separate it, because I don't want to mix it up with the one that's on the sewing machine. Now, what I'm doing when I pick these up, whenever I lay them on the ironing board, if seams point down on the side that's facing me, I know that's the way it's supposed to go. Because whenever you pick this up and lift it up, I'm now sewing towards all the seams. So now all the seams as I hold this are facing up. So when you're looking at the wrong side of the fabric, this should be facing down. Alright, now this one, seam should be to the right. So this one should be to the left. Alright, and let's check to make sure it looks good. Again, like I said before, I'm doing 2 quilts. It doesn't make a difference if the other one was correct. I could flip one and not the other. There we go. Nope, this one's good. Okay, so let's flip this up and pin it. And this next seam is not all the way until here. So I've got them nested, so I'm going to pin it. And then, now in this case, I mentioned the last time that if you had one fabric that was a little looser than the other. In this case, my top fabric is a little looser. I can actually put my finger in there, and the bottom is staying flat. So how I fix this is I pull the fabric. I'm going to hold the fabric with my elbow, and then put a pin somewhere in there. And then same thing. So I'm pulling it flat, and I'm putting an extra pin in here where there are no seams because it's a little loose right there. And what that's going to do is it's going to hold it in place. So when I put it through the machine, it's going to stretch itself and it'll be perfect and it won't have any puckering at all. Go. Alright, and this one is for the second quilt. Great. Alright, so I've got those free. There. Oh, I'm done with those rows. Time to lay out the next 3. Alright, so I'm going to take this and cover rows 11 and 10. Alright, I'm just doing a preview to see. Alright, it looks like the 3rd row that I'm doing has a vertical. And that's the last vertical, or horizontal, I'm sorry. The last row that I'm doing has a horizontal. Did I say vertical before? Horizontal piece. And it looks like that's the last one. Oh, it also looks like I'm using up all my red in these 3. Okay. So, background and gold. background square. Got more of those. I want to use these. So I want the piece after to go down towards the black, so the background has got to go up towards the black. Okay, and then these pieces need to go up towards the skin. Down towards the blue. Perfect. Those are my last two down towards the blue. And then gold. Red. Okay, red and yellow. And I'm going to take two in the bottom because I've got both in there, so they actually are going two different directions in that stack for the seam. Okay, so I went down towards the yellow, so up towards, no. I'm going to go on. Okay. Don't want to do that. I want to use one of each because I have one of each of these and I don't want to re-iron it if I don't have to. Okay, so red on top, gold on the bottom. Got it. Black on top. So there's that one and that one. Okay. Towards the blue, towards the black. Towards the black. Okay, and that's the end of the lasso. I'm just making sure. Whenever I have a piece that is touching the background that's not black, I always want to double check it because it could be a mistake, but in this case it's not, because the lasso is out by itself, not touching black. And then here. So the Amazon Warrior is actually a little bit more complicated than the Japanese Wood Spirit, and it was going to be even more complicated. Whenever Nicole designed the sprite originally, there were stars in the skirt. I mean, there were all sorts of really cool things in there. But the problem with that is there were so many different fabrics and so many different fabric combinations, it actually could not have been an 8-page booklet for the pattern, which is what we like to keep it to. It would have been at least a 12-page booklet. So we made the decision of simplifying and changing the sprite in order to keep it within the 8-page booklet and keep it a little simpler. It was almost to the intermediate level, like the NES sampler is. Oh, and I forgot to mention, this is row 9 on the pattern, and according to the pattern, seams need to point to the right. So that's why I'm picking up the right piece, flipping it up over the left piece, and then pinning it in position. Whenever I lay my pieces out, I do like to lay them out in sets of 2, and then that way, these are the pieces that I'm pinning together, so I don't have to worry about am I pinning the right piece to the right piece, and it saves room on my cutting mat, on my table. If I were to lay each individual piece out separately, I would run out of room fast. towards the background. Towards the black. Alright, let's see my last. Okay, I'm going to have to go towards the black. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and re-iron one of these pieces because I looked ahead. I have 2 of these left. And the last 2 pieces are going to have to go towards the black. So I've re-ironed it. And I'll use the other ones here. Alright, I'm going to move these over so I don't have any up there. Now as I'm starting to run out of pieces, I can move the other pieces around to make them more convenient for me to grab. Red. Oh, and the last 2 here. And the last 2 there. Okay, towards the black, so I need to go towards the black. So I've got to re-iron these. So it's always better to re-iron your seams than to force them, than to turn it physically and force it to flip. Okay, so black, so towards the black, so towards the background. Time for lassos. 3, 4. Okay, I need to go gold. So up, up. Same thing here and here. Okay, making sure those are alternating. Yep, apparently I did not separate those enough. When I cut them. There we go. I really did just do one of each, didn't I? Again, I'm starting to go on autopilot again. I'm not thinking about what I'm doing. Alright, I'm thinking after I finish laying them all on pinning, I'm gonna have to grab the cup of coffee because I keep going on autopilot too much. I do not want to make a mistake. So I need to pay attention to what I am doing. And I do glance at the pattern now and then just to make sure that I am putting the seams pointing the correct direction. I'm just glancing to see the ones that I have. Okay, so I've got enough of those, so I don't have to worry about this one. Alright, so black and gold. Let's go towards the gold. So this one needs to go towards the gold as well. Okay, and then towards the gold with the singles. Nope, I'm going to flip that. I guess I took that already. Yep, I did. Oh, I'm going to have to re-iron one of those. Alright, so I'm actually going towards the tan now, so I'm going to flip these and use these two. And I'll show you why I'm doing that in a second. Okay, so this one now goes towards the skin. Here we are. Okay, because the next piece is the horizontal piece. So I've got a black piece, and then the yellow-red towards the red. There we go. And remember, I like to iron towards the solid piece. So in this case, the seam's going to be pointing down if I iron it towards that solid piece. Okay, let's go ahead and just lay the rest of them out. So red. And that's going to be combined with that one. And then the last red and yellow. And then the last red square. Yellow. Skin. Oh, hi, Cornish Miss Saucy. How are you? I like that, a quilting fix while you're cleaning. I'm getting ready to go get a cup of coffee because I keep going on autopilot. So I think I need some caffeine. All right, I've got that. I am now working on rows 9, 8, and 7. I've gotten this far so far. So black, so I need to go towards the black with the background. Okay, and then towards the background with the gold. And then background. Alright, so remember, you want to sew the horizontal ones first. So, before I combine the rest of that row together, let's sew the horizontal pieces together. And these are the last horizontal pieces in this quilt. This one only has 4. I think Superman is 5. One of them is 5. I try to avoid horizontal pieces when I can. And to keep the chaining, I grab the first row of this one. It's funny, I discovered a couple of boxes of craft supplies in my back room the other day. And my copy of, what's it called? The quilt program that allows you to design quilts. I can't think of it. the boxes, and I'm like, hey, I've been looking for this. Alright, that's going to keep bugging me until it comes to me. And I'm not going to cheat. I'm not going to look it up. Alright, let me take the pins out of here. Rubbish. Box to box of rubbish. Ah! Oh, that's funny. I have a box of trash. I don't mean to laugh at your pain. But I can totally see myself doing that. That's why I laugh. You're in a rush to get things boxed up and moved. So instead of throwing away the trash, you box it up. I could totally see myself doing that. Alright, so I'm taking these horizontal pieces, putting them back. Oh, paints and craft. Okay, good. So I'm laying those down and these go on top. Alright, so let's pin this. So row 7, seams point to the right. Now the Amazon Warrior has the exact number of rows as the Japanese Wood Spirit. So there are 15 rows. You know, I was thinking earlier, I was like, you know what? Whenever I travel to my Maryland address, which is actually my parents' address, I ship everything there. I ship all my supplies. I ship everything there. So I only go there maybe once a month, so it always seems like Christmas whenever I go there because I'm opening all these boxes. So I was thinking to myself, I was like, you know what? I really should open everything on Twitch. Like, I should have an unboxing of everything that I get on Twitch just to see what it is and show you the kinds of things that I get. So I think I may do that the next time that I'm down there, which is just after Gen Con, 2 weeks before Labor Day. Sort out my little craft room, all my sewing stuff in my bedroom. So I was, nice, super efficient, that's fantastic. Okay, I gotta make sure I say your name correctly. Sir Martinez Da 9. Hi, how are you? Yeah, see, and next time I go through all of my craft boxes, I should open them up on Twitch just to see some of the things that I've got in there. I know I've got a ton of cross-stitch patterns in there. Like I have tons and tons and tons of old cross stitches that I started and then I didn't finish it. Like, I've got this great one of a it's a nativity scene, but it's with like Mario, Luigi, Peach, like all and then Toad is baby Jesus, you know, in the manger, like a baby Toad. So I've got that like almost done. I just have to finish it. And I think I worked on that like 10 years ago. So I've got that in one of the boxes. I've got like 10 or 15 boxes in there just of craft stuff. I normally go through all that stuff normally after New York, although this year I think I may have 2 or 3 conventions in November as well. So maybe in December I will go through and clean that back room and see if there's anything that I need. Because I find myself through the year, as I'm working on stuff, just like throwing boxes and boxes of things back there. Oh, thank you very much for the follow, Martinez. I appreciate it. Martinez Da 9. Gotta say the whole thing. Hey, so that means I'm on my way to the 500 followers, Miss Cornish, Miss Saucy. I'm just gonna start calling you Cornish. We were talking yesterday, and the stream about whenever I hit 500, I'm going to do a huge charity stream. And then everyone that donates gets a chance to win the quilt that I make in that stream. But that's going to be a long ways away. Maybe, I think. Okay. Got all that pinned. I think I'm good for now. So, I'll be right back. I need coffee. I need some caffeine. And be right back. Okay. I will be right back with coffee. It's like an obstacle course in here. There are so many, there's so much crap. There's so much stuff I have down here. It's like you gotta kind of like weave and bob and go around in order to make your way over to the computer. Oh, sweet coffee. You know, so I'm gonna find an ode to the Seam Ripper and post that. I wonder if someone did an ode to Keurig. Nice fast coffee and tea. Alright. Let's sew 7, 8, 9. So I'm almost halfway with making the rows for the Amazon Warrior. Yeah, I'll find it. I put a thing up on my my social media, on my Facebook, asking for feedback for emoticons. So I have a friend of mine that's actually going to design them and draw them for me. So I can do anything. I can do any kind of emoticons I want. I can do faces. I can do caricatures. I can do, things. So I need to decide what I want to do for my levels, for my sub-levels. So the way I was reading it and looking at it, I haven't figured out if I can give subs anything in addition to the actual sub, or they just get the emoticons. I will get that figured out before I actually have everything go live. But for now, I'm just worried about getting the emoticons together. So I've got, I figured out the way they work is if you pledge either the Prime or the $5 level, you get access to one. If you pledge 10, you get access to the $5 one plus one additional one, so you get 2. And then, of course, the $25 one, you get 3. So I just need to decide on which one. I'm thinking... Let's see if anyone's commented yet. No. Everyone's liking the post. No one's commenting on it. So I'm thinking a sewing machine, a thing of thread, and a needle. But I don't know how I would do that, right? Like, am I going to have the sewing machine kind of like be a characterization? Do I want to, have someone be on the sewing machine? Do I just want the sewing machine to be running? I don't know. Oh, I did that again. Damn it. I wasn't paying attention and didn't trim it and just kept sewing. That's the third time I've done that today, hence why I need coffee. Come here, pin. I've got a lonely little pin over there. Okay, let's figure out where I cut this. Luckily, I've got 2 rows, so it looks like here is the end of this row. With the 2 rows, it's easy to figure out where to cut it. See, now I want to go in and find and open one of my craft boxes. Let's see what's in it. See, I made you want pizza yesterday, and now you're making me want to go through my storage and open a craft box and see what's in there. Yes, I do want to. Alright, I may reward myself later. If I can get through what I want to get through in the stream and I have time, I will reward myself by going and doing that. So I may pull a craft box or 2 out and not look in there and just set them aside. Have them ready. When I did my, I know, it is an itch. When I did my studio redesign in January to prepare for Twitch streaming, I found all sorts of perler bead stuff, and I'm like, I am never again going to make any kind of perler beads. So I donated them all to the family center. So here you guys go. You can have all this. I need to go through and just purge. Just go through and be like, I am never going to use this stuff again. Let me just give all this stuff away. Ooh, I can do that for giveaways for Twitch. All my old craft things that I will no longer use or need. Uh-oh. Alright, so I've got a little bit of a problem here. Are you kidding me? Okay, this, if I didn't catch that, it would have hurt my machine. So it seems that somehow, I don't know if it was in the factory or what, but there is a knot in this thread. So I don't know if the thread broke and they just tied it together again and kept spooling it, or, yeah, I have no clue. So I'm actually going to stop. Let me trim this. Pull this out and trim it. I have never before seen that. Probably just laziness in the factory. I don't know how you can get a knot in thread without someone actually putting it there. I'm just happy I was paying attention and saw it. There we go. Alright, back to sewing. So if you ever see that happen, which again, as long as I've been sewing, it's the first time I've seen it happen, do not let that go through your machine, because it's bigger than it's supposed to go through the machine. By the same token, if your thread breaks, do not just tie it back together. Rethread the whole thing. You know, I think the itch to go and open a craft box is also because, you know, I'm doing the same thing over and over and over and over. I'm like, how do I do something different? It's one of the reasons when I do applique quilts, they go by so quickly. Because I don't lose focus when I'm doing applique quilts, because you're doing so many different things when you're doing it. Speaking of, the next quilt, if you didn't see the schedule, after Amazon Warrior is the Pokemon applique. Go. And I don't have a pattern for that. That's just something that I make to sell at conventions. I can't pattern that because of because I actually have a Pokeball that's on there, and I do the phrases, and I can only pattern things that do not break any copyright laws. Alright, so I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm excited. I just saw on Instagram one of the shops that carry my patterns made a sample to hang up. So I can't wait to look at my Instagram to see it. It just popped up. Okay, so this is 7 to the right. Now with this one, because there's nothing here, I'm going to take a look at the first one and the last one. So here's the first piece, that's the last piece. The last piece is longer, so I'm going to leave the last piece not included. So sometimes I'll pull that first piece and set it aside. Sometimes I'll just leave the last piece. In this case, I'm leaving the last one. I love, 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 love to see the quilts people make with my patterns. Because I like to see the fabrics that they chose and to see what it looks like with those fabrics. Okay, and this one's exactly the same, so I'm going to do the same thing. I know it has 7 pieces before I count them out, and that the last piece is the longest, so I will leave the last piece out. Okay, to the right. How'd I do that? So these pieces are all correct. Black going up. But these are facing the wrong, they're both facing the same direction. The seams are both pointing up. So somehow, when I was laying it all out, I mixed that up. So these pieces are all sewn correctly. So the first thing I do is I check to see if the pieces are sewn correctly, because I could have done something wrong. So the pieces are all sewn correctly. Okay. And they go, that's fine. So in this case, I don't want to change anything. So I am going to use my fingers to fold it over. So I'm just going to take this and kind of fold it over a little bit, because I can't re-iron it because I've already sewed half of it. So it's kind of twisted. That's going to cause a little bit more bulk in the back, but I'm just going to have to make sure that I am aware of it whenever I'm doing it. Okay. And then the last one. I'm going to, the store that I said made a sample is the Quilter's Trunk in Chicago. So I'm going to have to message them and see if they mind if I share it on my Facebook page. Okay, and then to the left. Oh, I'm sorry. I think I counted 7, but I'm going to double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, and I have ones, there's 8. So I'm going to use them all. Oh, Twitch problems. That sucks. Well, the only thing you really missed is my phone buzzed, so I looked at it, and alright, I just dropped a pin. I don't want to step on it. I think that's it. Yep. And it was one of the stores in Chicago, the Quilter's Trunk, that carry my patterns. they made a sample to hang in the store, so I cannot wait until the stream is done to go look at it. Because I haven't looked at the picture yet. I just got the message that they tagged me. I want to go see what it looks like. And then I'm going to ask her if I can share it on my Facebook. See, not much. Not much happened. Phone rang, dropped a pin. That's it. Seven. Alright, what time is it? 1:09. Oh, I guess I got plenty of time. I should get through at least these 3 rows and get the next 3 laid out, if not a good amount sewn. I'm trying to get through this as much as I can, and what I'll do is I'll try to finish her up as much as I finished up the Japanese Wood Spirit the other day, so that tomorrow's stream I can pick it up with assembling all the rows, so you can see the finished one like I did in yesterday's. And then as soon as I get her finished tomorrow, I will get started on the Pokemon applique quilt and show you how I make that. Oh, Steve McQueen. That's a fantastic name. Thanks for the follow, Steve McQueen. I appreciate it. To the left, yep. I flipped that piece, so I was making sure that the seam is pointing in the right direction, and I am pinning it correctly. Okay, so this is a new one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this one has an odd one, and there's no pieces on the board to pick up. So it looks like I'm going to leave one, and the last piece is longer. So I'll be leaving the last piece also. So here is the first piece. Here is the last piece. Last piece is longer, so I'm going to be leaving that one. All right, and seams point to the right. I know, right? I love these names. Steve McQueen is a fantastic Twitch name. See, I'm not original at all. Mine's just my business name. Okay, and that's good. All right, let me sew and free the last row. That way I can iron it and pin it, so I am done with the first pass. And because all of the rows have at least 7 pieces, I'll need 4 passes in order to get through these 3 rows. I've been trying to figure out ways. Suction cups won't stick to wood, right? I'm trying to figure out ways that I can do the camera angles better. And I found a cool tripod thing that has a suction cup on it. So like this camera right here, I want to try to stick up there and like have it straight down, because this way it's kind of angled. So if I have it straight down, you'll actually get a better view on it. And then I've got another one that I can flip around. Whenever I get my third camera, flip it around and actually have it on here. I gotta figure that out. A Sharon fruit. That's cool. I didn't know that persimmon is Sharon fruit. That's really cool. Huh. So yeah, so persimmon makes sense. You know, why that was originally. That's really cool. Things you learn. One, two, three. I'm trying to think if that's my first new thing I've learned today. So, you know, try to learn at least one new thing every single day. Or if I've learned anything else. Okay, seams to the right. Nope. No response. I was looking at my Facebook. No responses on Facebook yet about what you guys want for emoticons. If I don't get much feedback, I'll probably just go with those three, with the sewing machine, thread, and needle. See, and then I gotta think of what style. Twitch asked if I wanted to use Cornish, so yep, had to. She's starting. Ah! Oh yeah, I know that. I'm surprised I don't have any dogs down here at all. Like, I'm home by myself right now. You can tell from all the quiet. And normally when that happens, they're on me. Like, they're all right here with me. No. Not today. Apparently they're all like, nah. We want to be independent. And the cat's sleeping. My brother-in-law is in a softball tournament today. So my husband and George are out watching him. And they're coming home right around 2 o'clock. So that's why the stream's ending at 2. Seam ripper, but not... Yeah, see, that's it. See, I only get 3. I get 3 emoticons, and that's it. So it's not even just what I'm doing, but the style. So am I gonna do it in the style of, like, the machine is a person kind of thing, and it's I don't know. Yeah, see, and that's whenever I go to a 3-camera system. If I don't have it on the actual sewing machine right here so you can see what I'm doing, I'll probably have like a cat cam or a dog cam. I already decided I'm definitely doing that. But I gotta get a 3rd camera first. My goals for after my stream today are to finish all of the rows that I don't do on stream, so that I can just finish it, you know, finish assembling the rows tomorrow, like sewing the rows together. And then I also want to do some research on the emoticons and research on camera placement. I'm picking up a third camera. So Monday is on the schedule. I have Monday set as the quilt kit and dice bag day. If I get through all the quilt kits and dice bags that I want to make that day, of course, if I need to finish a Pokemon, I'll finish Pokemon. But the quilt kits and dice bags, if I get through all the ones that I want to do that day, I'll start working on the quilt kits for Gen Con, which is the Catan quilt. Now, it's not important that I get those done before Con Bravo, but it would be nice. I mean, if I had them for sale at Con Bravo, it'd be nice. 2 bottles of black paint and white. Oh, nice. You can always use that. Alright, coffee is doing its job. I am waking up. Yeah, you can see it. Just making sure you can see the... my cutting gizmo. And another bottle of black. Nice. Oh, that's the last one. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. See, that's always fun. The other day I was cleaning out my closet in my bedroom, and I discovered a whole bunch of art supplies that apparently I bought for Jordan 2 years ago, and I had shoved them in there to give her for Christmas, and I forgot about them. So I came downstairs and said, "Hey, Jord, here you go. Here's a whole bunch of art supplies." She was happy. Okay. Now, whenever you iron the pieces, you always want to iron them in the same direction. So the seams, when the wrong side is facing you, seams should always be pointed down. Now, I realize the first couple times people make my patterns, you are not going to be doing them this fast. I have just got the method down for how to efficiently piece them, because I make probably about 6 to 7 quilts a week. and this one seams are going to the left. Four. This is to the left. Yeah, it's the lady that helps me most of the time, Laura, my main minion. She jokes with people at shows because the common question I get lots of questions, but the most common question I get is, how long does it take you to make a quilt? Well, depends on the quilt, but most of my patterns, I can do them in a day. Start to finish, I can do in a day, which is why I said for the charity event, I will do a quilt start to finish in one day and just stream the whole thing. Okay, this is to the right. Fantastic, thank you very much. Go enjoy your coffee and cake with them. Have a wonderful Saturday, and thank you for joining me, Cornish Miss Saucy. So, the main minion, Laura, whenever people ask me that question and I tell them honestly this is how long it takes me to make quilts, Laura always tells them, I think she's a machine. She's not a person. She's actually a machine in disguise because of how fast I can move. And it really is all just muscle memory because of how much I do it and how often I do it. Hi, Angel J. How are you today? So don't expect that if you try one of my patterns that you can do it in a day, because it's going to take more than a day. That's just, I do it all the time. Alright, so those are done. So, third pass. Yeah, it's, sometimes you need inspiration for getting in a crafty mood. I completely feel you. How would you like me to inspire you? And, oh, that's right. So, I've done that. I forgot that I already did that one. Okay, so I will sit and sew them all. Now, I don't have any left over because I'm on the even. I'm on the 9/8/7 rows. There we are. I finished sewing everything. See, I'm getting close to pinning these together. Chair Kleenex cover. Oh, that's cool. So the Kleenex cover, was it like a couch Kleenex cover kind of thing? Using the plastic canvas and yarn? Ooh, oh, I'm gonna have to look at this. Do, 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 do. Oh, that's cool! You've made me smile today. That is freaking... Look at the little pillows! Look at the little Michigan... Oh! Now, I have to warn you, my father is an Ohio State guy. Because my brother was born in Columbus, so I gotta warn you, but... Yeah, there's Michigan. This is so cute. Look at the little Kleenex. Okay, sorry. That is so cool. Yo, I love it. I love it. Oh my gosh, that is so stinking adorable. I love it so much. See, when I think of Kleenex covers, I think of the plastic canvas, you know, like the rigid structure stuff. I don't think of like soft ones, like soft cuddly stuff like that. That makes me smile. It's so awesome. Yeah, if you start streaming and you do a video tutorial on that, let me know and I will stick it up on Craft Hackers and show people. That'd be awesome. So I don't mention Craft Hackers much in my streams. Craft Hackers is a craft site that Nicole and I run. We actually do it for free. We don't take any money from anyone that we feature. I don't believe in doing that. We don't do any of that stuff. Do you hand... No. Whenever I finish making the tops, I machine quilt. And in fact, if you look at my past streams on my YouTube, I upload every single one of my streams to YouTube the next day, so you can actually see. So I have quilting days. So on my Twitch schedule, you'll notice that Wednesday is a quilting day. I'll machine quilt. So I'll actually drop my feed and I'll set my machine up and you can see exactly how I quilt everything. And then I have a binding day where you can see how I machine bind it. So no, everything's done by machine. So, and I do it all myself. And yeah. Making sure there's no other comments or questions on there. This is mine made for sewing table. Okay, yeah, I gotta look at this. These are so cool. Oh my gosh, look at the froggies! And the little pouches for the scissors. I love it. That is awesome. See, and this is why I don't block links in my chat. Because I want to see this stuff. Oh my gosh, that's so stinking cute. Oh, that's so cute. Okay, so back to Craft Hackers. It is a blog that I have, let's see, you got Laura, Megan, Kim, Nicole, and Sarah. Sarah's starting in a few weeks. She's going to take over Mondays. So it's basically a blog that features handmade artists, handmade stuff, patterns, new products coming out, like anything handmade, we talk about it. And that's it. So we try to pick cool things. We do do-it-yourself tutorials. Yeah, so when you do a tutorial on how you do those, let me know. I want to stick it up on Craft Hackers. That's not right. It seems to the right. That's why. See? Here I am talking and I almost mixed it up. There we go. And this is now to the left. See, I tried to do those. Yeah, those, oh my god, I'm so in love with your couches. So you said today you want to get inspired to make a matching chair? That's pretty cool. So how is the chair different? Okay, so this is row 9, 8, and 7. So 9 and 8 get sewn together. So I'm going to take row 8 and stick it up on top of row 9. And then row 7 is going to be the lonely little row. All by himself. That he won't get sewed to anything until I do the next 3. Oh, I gotta really look it on here. Alright, I was proud of it, made it from a picture, so on Pinterest, no pattern. That is awesome. Oh, okay, so instead of the long Kleenex, it's going to be the short Kleenex for a chair. That's so cool. Alright, when you finish it, I want to see a picture. Alright, that should motivate you. I want to see pictures. See, and that's actually why I started my own quilt pattern line. Is for years and years and years, people would look at my quilts at conventions and go, "Oh, that's great, but I want to make it. Do you have a pattern?" And I'm like, "No." And they would say, "Okay, I'll try to figure it out." So it's like, do you know what? I want to have the pattern available so people can make it and not try to figure out how I did it. Oh, yes. So, no, actually, I will chat about anything. So, no, there is no such thing as ignorance on my channel at all. Okay, so, the Q in the background, that is my logo. So, it is, I'm Quiltoni. So, that's my Q logo. So, if you look at my website, my business card, everything else, that is what is on everything. I am known as the Pixel Quilter. So, I do everything in pixelated style. So I take things and I pixelate them out, hence the Amazon Warrior. We took her as an original sprite. She's an original pixelated sprite that we created ourselves. So that is my style. That's my thing. So I do other quilting stuff. So tomorrow's Twitch stream, I'll be working on a Pokemon applique quilt. So that will not be in the pixel style. I also do some traditional quilting. I've got strip quilts that I need to make, the block strip quilts for a baby quilt that I'll do on another stream. So I do a little of everything for quilting, and I can answer all sorts of quilt questions. Oh, hey, I got the can quilt. And then hand quilting, English paper piecing. So I'm going to have a kit for this available too for at conventions. So I really do a little bit of everything, but I'm known as the Pixel Quilter because of the style. And all of the patterns, the strict patterns that I offer right now are all in a pixel style. Okay, so this is row 7. We're keeping him out lonely by himself. So let's sew 9 and 8. And then I will pin those together. And Bubbles PR, thank you very much for the follow. I appreciate it. No, my goal with my pattern line for the Pixel quilts is twofold. Is to encourage people to learn how to quilt. So cosplayers and those new to quilting. My pattern line has everything all spelled out. So everything is thoroughly explained in a way that new quilters and cosplayers can figure it out. So if you can use a sewing machine, you can do my patterns. And then experienced quilters have problems with perfect points, with getting everything to line up perfectly in there. So my patterns address that, and it teaches you how to nest seams to do perfect points. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, Twitch Creative is fantastic. It's funny because I'm the same way. My husband and my stepdaughter are always on Twitch watching people play video games. And I like doing that too. But then I discovered the Twitch Creative and I went, I want to do that. That's awesome. So then I spent a few months figuring it all out, redesigning my studio so I could stream. And now I've been doing it since February. Nice, Angel J. Speaking of perfect points, my mom just sent me a quilt for my condo. Oh, Radiant Star. Oh, that's awesome. Look at that border. That would drive me crazy. Oh, those stars are gorgeous. Did she do those with regular paper piecing or just regular, just like traditional piecing? I know the border is traditional pieced. Do you know the technique that she used? That is so cool. I love that quilt. You can tell her that I think it's amazing, and I love it. Yeah. See, that's what it looks like. It's because the star is so perfect. The little stars and the center star are so perfectly done. That's why I thought it was the regular paper piecing method. This one is English paper piecing. So this is all done by hand and then appliqued onto the back. But that is traditional. That's awesome. And the green circle that she did with in and out, that's even cooler. Oh, I love that. Yeah, it's amazing. I love looking at other quilts. That's one of my favorite things about going to the fall market in Houston, is they have Quilt Festival right after Quilt Market. And so I'm able to see all of the quilts on display, and it's just so cool. Okay, so this is to the left. I think someone's here at the door. Okay, let me go see if someone's here, if it's a door-to-door salesman or what. I'll be right back. Or if it's someone important that I actually have to answer the door for in the middle of a stream. Okay, I'm back. Yep, that was important. Okay, let me do that, be right back. Okay, so apparently that is my brother-in-law borrowing my lawnmower. And he's gonna go ahead and mow the front lawn too, so that's awesome. Alright, what did I miss? Okay, that is the biggest thing. So don't be afraid to use it as a quilt. Seriously, use it, use it, use it. Whenever I make quilts for people, that's what they tell me all the time. Oh, I'm scared to use it as a quilt. Use it. So seriously. Okay, so where am I? Rows 9 and 8. That way and that way. Okay, let's double check to make sure that all the pieces are correct. Hi, Soleil. There. Because I have a horrible habit of flipping pieces. There we go. Okay. I have a horrible, horrible habit of flipping pieces the wrong way. So they're upside down, they're flipped, they're turned. So no matter what, I always double check to make sure the pieces are all correct before I pin it. I love that antique quilt so the dog is adopted. That is fantastic. And I tell people, actually, whenever someone purchases a quilt for me, on the back of my business card, it has instructions on how to wash it and take care of it. And if you take care of a quilt, it will be 20, 30 years before it shows any kind of wear at all. So seriously, use it. Like I have a couple of quilts that my grandmother made me before she passed. I still use them. Now, it also helps that if a hole gets in them or something happens, I do know how to fix it. I'd rather not fix it because it's a pain. Hi, Soleil. There we are. All right, so this one over here. Now again, because I am making 2 quilts, whenever I separate the rows, I have them in 2 spots. I have the first quilt up here, I've got the back, then second quilt in the back. So I do not mix the rows together once they are done. I separate them out. There we go. See, I'm excited to see this Kleenex box chair now. Oh, there is, Bubbles, there is another Twitch streamer who's actually in my alliance, Iron Bandsgram. She is another quilter that streams on Twitch. And she does a lot of embroidery stuff. So most of her stuff's embroidery based. It is. It is, and that's anything with handmade. With handmade, you have to pay yourself, right? So I am able to do it, and I actually go to comic book and video conventions and sell the quilts and patterns, and I'm able to do it because I'm so fast, and I'm so efficient, and I'm a machine. So like I was saying before, I can do one of my patterns start to finish in one day. So I can make a quilt in a single day, start to finish. So there's not a lot of people that can do that. And so because of that, even if they make the same exact quilt, their price is going to be higher because you have to factor in your time as well. Whenever I'm at a convention and someone looks at a price and they go, oh, $375 for that? So, well, yes, it's handmade. Do you know how much of my time I put into this and how much the materials cost to make it? And then people try to bargain sometimes, like, no. That is the price. That is how much it costs. I don't care if you're a friend. I don't care if you're a famous person. That is the price. Just recently got a Millie Longarm computer. Oh, yeah. Yes, and that is actually a great business. People that will, that have the long arms. I do not have a long arm. So if you look at my YouTube, at some of the past quilting days, or if you watch on Wednesday, I have my standard home, now not this one, not my CS6000 cheapo machine, that when it breaks I throw it away, and just get another one. I have my, my standard regular home machine. It is the Quilt Club, which is now the Laura Ashley from Brother, that I do all of my quilting on. I wish I had the room in my house for a long arm. See, and short arms are cool too. That's that's one of those sit-down long arm table things, right? Yes, yeah, if you phone. Oh, that's awesome. See, I'm envious. So envious. There is a sewing store by me that will that offers you to offers to train you on their long arms, and then you can actually rent time on the long arm machine. I keep entertaining the notion of doing that for my bigger quilts. So when I have commissions for a double, oh yeah, that's awesome. It's of doing that instead of using my standard machine. Alright, and here is the second one for the second quilt. Now, the two I have on the machine right now, these are both row number 7, and they don't have row 6 to combine it to yet, so I'm leaving those alone, and I'm moving my pattern up, and let's work on row 6. Alright, now I'm done with all my horizontal pieces. I no longer have any horizontal pieces, so I don't have to worry about that. Alright, so I've got this one. And then this one. And remember, I put them in pairs of 2 to not only save room on my mat, on my table, but those are the ones that I am sewing together. There. Okay, those are towards the yellow, so I need to go toward... Nope. Grab the wrong one. I need to use this, because it needs to go opposite of that. So I need to go towards the skin, towards the yellow. Because remember, I want to nest my seams, so I want to have the seams going opposite. Okay, so that's towards the yellow, so I need a skin... Now I can use this one. Okay, and this one's towards, whoops, see, look at that, I almost flipped that piece, unless that's why I double checked it. So towards the yellow, so towards the black, with skin, towards the black with background, towards the black with skin, and then I need to go towards, nope. Alright, so these pieces, the seam needs to go towards the skin, but it's towards the yellow right now. So I've got to re-iron it. It's always better to re-iron if you can, because you want your seams to go in the correct direction to make sure that that nesting is perfect. There we go. Okay, so this is a picture of it from the ad I found on... Oh, that's cool. I love that long arm. Oh. That's cool. See, and I've got, and I do this freehand too on my regular machine, but using a short arm or a long arm, yeah, that's cool. I don't know if I would ever use anything with a machine on it, personally. I think anything that I do, I would have to freehand it. Okay, towards the background. And then a square background. I have found whenever I do my quilting, if I'm doing something new, I always try to make sandwiches and play with it. So, for example, I was talking in the stream yesterday, the next pattern in August to be released is the God of Mischief, The one after that is going to be the Triforce. We haven't named it yet, but this is going to be the one we release in October, so I still obviously have to quilt it. I've got to pin it and quilt it. I'm thinking I want to quilt it with triangles on there. Triangles are kind of hard to freehand. Well, I picked up this at the Spring Quilt Market, which is the Westerly Sew Steady Ruler Work Kit, which are fantastic. They're amazing. I love it. And I can do designs using this thing on my regular home machine. So it's not freehanding it. So I'm thinking I'm going to play around with that, but I want to make a couple of sandwiches first before I do it, to play with it. And of course I'll do all that on the stream. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's so pretty. Oh, she's got another Lone Star in the background. That's cool. I like the, on the bar, it says Quilt Top right on there to remind you that that's the bar that you put the actual top on. That's cool. Oh, that's awesome. Nice job. I love your stars. That is so cool. Yeah, nice. Yeah, it's so cool. See, and that's what, whenever I talk to people, whenever I do, when I do my quilting streams, the biggest thing, and I'm sure Angel J can back me up on this, it's all about relaxing. It's just all about, you know, letting it go, just relaxing, and just doing it. If you stress out and you think about it too much, it's not going to flow. And that's the biggest thing with free motion quilting, is you just want it to flow. I like the yes exclamation point. And it's all about, and that's what when I talk about, I do a lot of just meandering, just wandering around. It's just, you know, just having it flow and just moving it. So whenever you make quilt sandwiches, that's the biggest thing that you should practice. It's just letting go and practice the design that you want to do over and over. The Catan quilt, this one was the first time that I tried pebbles, that I tried the bubbles. So I made myself a quilt sandwich, and I practiced doing the little circles over and over and over and over before I did anything at all. And of course I've got the stream, it's up on YouTube. And I practiced that first, and then once I had the muscle memory of the circles and knowing what I was going to do and how I was going to do it, I then took the sandwich off and I put that one on and I started working on it. Alright, so this is row 6 that I'm working on right now. The seams need to point to the left. So that's why I'm picking up the left piece, flipping it over on the right piece, and then pinning it in place. Funny you should ask. Alright, where did I put it? I finally found... Oh, I put it over there. It depends on the batting. It honestly depends upon the batting that you use. I have switched to Quilter's Dream batting. And Quilter's Dream, and they should have this in the quilt store or sewing store that you buy batting from, assuming it's not like Joann's. Quilter's Dream actually has this little thing, and it's has samples of all of the batting. So you've got the Dream Cotton, the Dream Poly, the Dream Angel. So you have a blend. The Orient is the bamboo. So you have all this stuff. And when you feel it, so let's take a look at the Dream Cotton. These are all the different colors it comes in. And if I flip it up, it says stitch up to 8 inches apart. The old rule of thumb is no bigger than your fist. So you don't, if you put your fist on there, if you don't touch a piece of thread, then it's going to pucker and bunch up. That's not true anymore. It depends on the batting. So here you can actually go up to 8 inches. Okay, that's 2 of my fists. I've got a small fist. You can go up to 8 inches without any quilting in there. Polyester, it says up to 12 inches. So you can actually go 12 inches apart and it'll be fine. 6, 12, 10, 8, 8, 10, 8, 12. Yeah, so the smallest that the 6 inches. Yeah, so the smallest that the Quilter's Dream has is 6 inches. And my fist is 4 inches. So that's no longer the case anymore. So it depends on the batting. So if you do research on your batting and you know your batting, then you know how far apart you can go. Whenever I was deciding to make the switch to Quilter's Dream, Iron Bandsgram was in my channel, and that's all she uses, is Quilter's Dream. So we were talking about it, and I actually talked about all the different types of batting, you know, how you can use them, what they are, and I placed my order. I actually went online on the stream and figured out what I wanted and placed the order. So I've got a couple of different ones. And I use them for different things. I have a flame retardant batting. So whenever I have a commission for a baby quilt, I'll offer, hey, for X dollars more, depending upon the size of the quilt, I can use the flame retardant batting. Would you like that? Oh, that reminds me. I forgot to offer that for the last baby quilt I just took a commission for. I need to go back and email them. Now, I know my scheduled stream was only until like 2 o'clock today, but I'm going to keep going until at least I finish these rows. I at least want to lay these rows out and pin them. Don't want to mix that one up with the one at the machine. 1, 2. One, 2. And the 2 of these. I am to the Amazon Warrior's face. Finally. 2. Now if it doesn't make a difference which way the seams point, I don't mention it. One, 2. One, 2. So yeah, so to answer your original question, the 1x1 versus 3x3, yeah, depending upon the batting, 3x3 is perfectly fine. Okay, now, in this case, these are my last... Oh, what did Angel J think? Oh, you get the owls on the couch. Oh, those are so cute. You made me squeak. Okay, fantastic. Glad I was able to fully answer the question. Oh my gosh, that is so stinking cute. I love it so much. Okay, so I need to use these two pieces, not the next piece, but the piece after. And right now, they only go towards the skin. So that means the piece before it, I want to go this way, so towards the gold. Okay. There we go. And then towards the skin. Those owls are so stinking cute. See, this is why I love Twitch. And hopefully, I will never turn that off. Fantastic. Okay, so I've got there. Oh my gosh, did the puppy get out? That would stink. Whenever I first, so I have 3 dogs. 2 of them are rescues. My most recent rescue, for the first couple of weeks that we had him, he kept trying to escape because he was so afraid of everything. So he kept running and running. So if the puppy got out, I know that feeling. All right, so this is row 5. So row 5, the seams are pointing to the right. Now, for my Twitch streams, if I have the picture like that on the left-hand side of my Amazon Warrior, that means that this is a pattern that I sell. So I not only sell the quilt at conventions, but I sell the pattern at conventions and online. Still going to the right because this is 2 rows of the same quilt, or 2 different quilts, same row. Okay, and then now for the 3rd row. Oh, I get to see some of her eyes. And then the black. Okay, and then towards the black with the skin. And eyes. Eyes. Black square. And yes, I talk to myself whether I'm streaming or not. Okay. Alright, so I'm planning ahead and figuring out what I want to do. Okay, I was looking ahead to see if it made a difference which way these went before. Alright, so these have to go, this is 1, 2, 3 pieces ahead. They're both go towards the yellow. So I need to go the background towards the background with the lassos. Okay, so let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then, nope, I did that wrong. Yes, I flipped them. Okay, so background on top, towards the background, towards the background, towards the gold. Okay? Background, background, gold. Perfect. Okay, and then background again. So 1, 2, 3 golden roll. Great. And then a purple square piece. Alright, so after I finish these 3, I only have 3 more rows to go. Alright, I can definitely, through the course of today, get all the rows finished. So, my goal when I finish streaming is I want to finish all of the rows and have them ready so that all I have to do when I start the stream tomorrow is assemble all the rows together and add the border. So you can see how the Amazon warrior looks when she's finished. And then I'll immediately move on to the Pokemon quilts, to the applique quilt. I will be using my brother's scanning cut to cut all of the applique pieces. So you can see how I design and how I use that. I'll also show you how I clean and re-sticky it. Because that's the biggest complaint that I hear from the Brother Scan and Cut and the Sizzix. I'm thinking what the Sizzix machine's called, I don't remember. Is that you have to constantly buy the pads or buy the mats that go into it, and that's not true. Once you have one mat, you do not have to re-buy more mats. You can remake them sticky again. So I will show you how I do that. So did the dog get out, or did the dog need to go out? Yeah, no, I completely, yeah, no, it's, and that's the biggest thing with the, okay, he needed to go, okay, good. I thought he got out and you had to go chase him. So that's the biggest thing with the Brother and the Cricket and the Sizzix, with the cut machines, you don't have to buy more mats. Oh, 4-month-old puppy. So cute. It's like, I don't care who you are. If you need cheering up, you can always just go play with a puppy. And they're awesome. Puppies are amazing. They make me smile. My husband is obsessed with dogs. So anywhere we go, anything we do, if he sees a dog, he has to go play with it and pet it and love it. Oh, yellow lab puppy. Alright, let's see if one of my dogs will come down. Soleil! Alfred! Marley! They know if I call them, if they come down, they get treats. You guys want treats? All right, there's one. There's two. Alfred, are you coming? There's three. Hi, guys. You want to be on the stream and I'll give you treats? You do? Really? Okay, hold on. All right, come here. Let's go Alfred first. Alfred, come here. Oh, I know. It's so exciting. That's so like, shh. I know, you're very excited. Okay. I know, I love you. So this is Alfred. Shh. So like, shh. Enough. I know, I said the T word. Alfred is my first rescue doggy. I know. He is a Chion, half Papillon, half Chihuahua. Thank you. All right. And come here, Marley. All right. And then Marley is my second rescue dog. I know. If I hold him, he gets the look of, oh my God, you're going to kill me. He is a Pomeranian Chihuahua. I know. You don't like being held. We've had him since December, so he's still getting used to things. All right. And then Soleil. Come on, up. Soleil is my Papillon. She's the fully trained good one. I know, you're a good girl. You know I have to get all the hair off of me. Okay. All right. Now you guys want treats? All right. 1, 2, 3. I know, Marley. It's very exciting. All right. Here's Alfred. No, Marley. This is for Alfred. And Marley and Soleil. And now I've touched dogs before I touch fabric. I have to get all the dog hair off of me. Because you never know who is going to have this quilt. Oops. I think I got it all. There we go. Okay. No more dog hair. Fantastic. Yeah, so those are my babies. So when you hear them barking and carrying on, it's always going to be Soleil, the Papillon. Because that's just what she does. Alright, back to sewing rows. Yeah, so I'm going to play around with my camera angles. Try to add a third camera, see what I can do. See, if there's a way that I could stick a camera up there. Figure it out. Okay, so I know I said I was going to stop after I did those rows, so I just want to show you what I do with this. Alright, so these are row 7, right? Yep, these are the row 7s that are little lonely rows. So I'm going to go ahead and iron them. And set them aside. So I'm just going to take these and I'm going to completely, all the way over there, set them aside, forget about them until I'm ready. So then after I finish sewing these rows, whenever I finish row 6, I'll then pin row 6 to row 7. And then I can pin these two together. So, yeah, see, I actually took about 3 months to plan out this, to plan out how I'm going to design my room. It was actually in October is when I started it. When I was in October, I met the wonderful people at Arrow Sewing, which is my furniture. So this desk, which is amazing, fantastic, I love it, is an Arrow. It is, I love it so much. And I love them so much because they let me give away free sewing chairs on my Facebook every time I see them. We're giving away a skull-themed sewing chair in October. Oh, I cannot wait. And then I've got all of my cabinets back here with all my thread. That's also all the Arrow. So because of the Arrow people, I was able to take their furniture, and I actually sat down and I figured out all the dimensions of the room. I had my husband measure it and send them to me while I was with them. and I could figure out what furniture I wanted, where I wanted to put it, what I wanted to do, which was awesome. So then once I had the Arrow furniture together, I figured out all of the fabric bookcases everywhere. And then, of course, I had to figure out the exact layout for the stream, how I was going to do my cameras. So I've got that one and that one. I'm not happy with this one right here, though, because I don't like how it angles it, and you can't see a lot of what goes on over here. So I want to have it up there looking down. So I've got to figure out how I'm going to do that off the ceiling. And then I want to do a third camera for either right here on the sewing machine, so you can see here, because that's the only thing that people are asking for, is they can't see what exactly is going on the machine, so they want to see that more clearly. So I'm going to try to do that. And then when I don't have the third camera on the machine, I'll probably have it on the cat or a dog. I have a cat cam or a dog cam. So that's my goal right now. So I'm going to stop streaming and actually start figuring all that stuff out, so that I can hopefully get that together. So thank you for joining me for the stream. Thank you, Martinez, 9, Steve McQueen, and Bubbles PR for following me. Love you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. When I get to 500 follows, I figured out yesterday I'm going to do a charity stream where all money I raise during the day is going to go to a charity. I haven't decided which one yet. And everyone that donates is going to get a chance to win that quilt. So that quilt that I make for that stream is going to go to someone that donates that day. So hopefully I can get up there. I'm at 80 something now, so maybe a year or so, but I'll get up there. I'm going to do it. So thank you again. Love you guys. I will be back tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll finish this off, and then I'll work on my Pokemon quilt and show you all that stuff.